Hello friends and welcome to my channel. Well, if you're brand new here, I'm glad to have you. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below and ring the bell for notifications so you'll know when I post up videos. And if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. I love seeing all of you here. You guys know I consider you friends. So today I've got a little something different for you. For years, I've been asked to do a video and show my sewing space. And I'll tell you what, I've been really hesitant because I don't want to ever seem like I'm bragging about what I have. And so it's been a struggle for me to decide whether to do this or not. But I decided I would go ahead since so many people are asking. I've come a long way from sewing at my dining room table in our old home, and I'm very grateful and blessed to have the space that I have now. We've lived in this home now for a few years, and at first the basement was not finished, and we finished off our basement so I could use that as my sewing studio, sewing space. So like I said, super grateful to have what I have. We worked really hard to own our own home, and worked really hard to, get what I have. So I don't want anybody to ever think that I'm showing off. So that's why I was a little hesitant to make this. But I'm going to go ahead and show you my sewing space. It's not perfectly clean. I keep it as clean as I can, but I am a working sewing studio. You guys know that I have a shop, so I have lots of bolts of fabric sitting everywhere, so you'll see that. I do keep it as clean as I can, but it's a working studio, so all right, I'll stop talking now. Come along with me on my tour. So as I said, I'm in the basement, so you can see the stairs behind me. So I'm going to show you guys as I'm coming down. Okay, so the first thing you see as you come down the stairs, and hopefully I'm not going to fall down the stairs, is I've got a cabinet here that's got some fabric in it, some personal fabric. These cabinets have thread and some other fabrics of mine. I keep my personal fabrics and the shop fabrics separate. This desk I do a lot of my packaging on. There's a package right there ready to go. Here's a bin full of stuff that I collect to give away. And you can see my New York Beauty blocks there. This is where my new embroidery machine is going to go. I'm going to move those bins. These are also work in progresses. I have a lot of those sitting around, so you'll see a bunch of those. So that's where my new embroidery machine is going to go. And I've got some things that I made hanging on the wall. That's my label machine, and everything in there is all business stuff. It's all shipping supplies, tape, pens, that kind of stuff. And then over here, this cabinet has some things I'm working on, and there's a couple things on top. You can see blocks and stuff sitting up there. That is a little wall hanging Steven of the Idiot Quilter made me, which I love. I love snowmen. Most of the furniture in here is from IKEA. I like it because it's inexpensive, easy to put together. And then this is where I sew, where you guys see on camera all the time. It's our little basement window. And then those are all things that I made. We just finished the Fort Worth Fabric Studio as the crow flies, so that's still hanging up there. This right here is Black Beauty, the machine that you guys ask me about all the time. When it's not packed up for retreats, it's sitting there. My daughter sews there. That's her little spot. So that's my sewing table. And then a bunch of background fabrics down there. They're either in my shop or going to be in my shop. And then over here I have more bolts. And that whole cabinet is my stuff, my personal stuff. And then I have my yardage. That's like kits, in fact, quarter bundles over there. And then I have yardage here. All of that is chroma, and so there's some Tula up there. There's some grunge up there. There's all these over here is cherry wood. And then up there on the top shelf are things that people have made me. And then I've got a little Ohio Star up there and a couple of quilt kits. And then I just finished this Art East for the bird. Quilting is for the birds. So that's laying there ready to go. And then the box below it is my new embroidery machine, which I'm going to be unboxing when Stephen and Walter come to visit. So they both have one, so I decided to wait until they come. And then over here I've got a cutting table with my AccuCutter and some more projects. That's the Underground Railroad fabric. That is one of my other quilt projects that I've got going on, and that bin. I like bins a lot to put stuff in. Now these are all shop things. This whole cabinet is things that I have for sale, fat quarter bundles, kits. There's notions and patterns in there. And then in the bottom of the cabinet, I have packages of batting for my long arm customers. And then over there, I keep projects that on the quilt letter that I have finished that I need to bind, because I hate binding. I actually like binding because it finishes the project, but I just don't like the process of binding. So I tend to like get a whole bunch of projects done and then sit down and bind a lot. So over here is just a little small like half bathroom. I use it, I don't really use the bathroom that much there, to be honest with you. I use it more as storage, and when I refill my best press and my acorn, I go in there and use the sink to do that. And then I've got a little rolly cart with things for my long arm. And then this is my long arm machine. As you can see, I've got a quilt there that I need to quilt. And then back there is another cutting table, and that's where I cut all the yardage for my shop. As you can see, I've got a bunch of yardage there on my ironing board. That's for my autumn project box. I'm cutting it slowly, a little bit at a time, so I don't hurt my arm, but that should be going out next week. And then that cabinet over there has all my threads from my long arm, spare parts, things like that. And then there's all the bolts of fabric. I have a bunch of wide backs. The wide backs are kind of on the top up there, and then some down on the bottom shelf there. And I just have bolts of fabric everywhere. And then my ribbons from all the awards I've gotten for different quilts, which I was made to hang up. I had them all in a drawer. My daughter said, no, you need to hang them up. So basically that's it. That's my sewing space. I'm very, very, very grateful and lucky to have that. Oh, and then there's a closet there under the stairs that I keep my rolls of batting. And then back there is just our utilities, like a unfinished part of the basement with the heater and all that stuff. So there you go. There is my space. So I'd love to see pictures of your space if you want to put them in the Facebook group. I'd love to get some organizational ideas from you guys. I've tried to stay fairly organized, but you know. Well, thank you so much for coming on that tour with me. That was a lot of fun. Like I said, I was a little hesitant to make this video, but I decided to go ahead and share with you. Whether you have this kind of space or you have a kitchen table, you know, don't let that stop you from sewing, because that's how I started. I started on my kitchen table, and then I had a really tiny, small space. It was my own space, but a little small room after that. And then I was so lucky when we moved into this house after we finished the basement to be able to take over this space. And it allowed me to go from a very small 8-foot frame to a big frame for my long arm, and expand my business. You can see all the bolts that I have everywhere, and things like that. So super grateful for that. The room is fairly well divided. The half with the long arm and the bolts and the cabinet with the pre-cuts and the notions and things were all kind of on that side of the room, and this side of the room is kind of my space, right, with my sewing table, my fabric stash, that kind of thing. So except for the bolts that are over here, of course, that are extra and don't fit over there. But anyway, I hope that gave you a little peek into everything, and I will see you guys really soon. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all of your support and all of my subscribers. I consider you friends, and thank you for asking me to tour my sewing space. And that's all I can say, but love you guys. See you soon. Bye.